Welcome everyone to the ECP demo class. I'm Rakesh Singh, your own payroll pre-sales demo expert. Let's see what we are going to learn in this video. In this video, I'm going to talk about the enhanced Payroll Control Center of SuccessFactors ECP. So I have logged in as Shane Credon, who is the payroll manager. And as a Shane Credon, I can go and have a look at the employee named Carl Dixon. As we look into its people profile, we see its personal data, we see the data regarding his job and the employment, and at the bottom we have something called payroll. This payroll view shows all the payroll data of the Carl Dixon that a payroll manager has permission to look into. As we can see over here, he can have a look at his payroll statement. Here we will see the history of all the payroll that he has and the pay slip related to that. So everything is visible over here. As you can see here, he is having a garnishment of support of $150. If you go back and look into its garnishment document, garnishment order, and here we are going to see the garnishment related to him, which is $150 here, right? So if we go and look into it, it's $150. So that's how a payroll manager can have a look at the payroll data of an employee. When he looks into the time sheet of this particular person, Carl Dixon, who is an hourly employee, if you look at his time sheet, you will see that he has a lot of overtime in this particular week, the week for which we are going to run the payroll, which is 22nd pay period of this year, 2025. And you can see he has a lot of overtime. We go to the next week, and here again, a lot of overtime for this employee. So let's see what happens, how this overtime will be visible to a payroll manager when he really runs the payroll for the employee. An employee has entered all this overtime data. And that gives us the opportunity to go and have a look at the Payroll Control Center. Payroll Control Center can be accessed in two ways. One, either through the main menu, where we can click on the payroll as the payroll manager, or we can go to this home tile, which is Payroll Control Center. If we navigate to the Payroll Control Center, we see the Manage Payroll Activities where the payroll is supposed to run. This is called Activity List for the activity, tile for the activity list. This whole view is called Activity List. Each box here shows an activity. And within each activity, we have these steps, multiple steps. As we all know that this is a test payroll. What does it mean? It means before the actual production payroll runs, which typically happens in the last week of the payroll period, throughout the payroll period, we can still run the payroll, which is not a final payroll. It's kind of a test payroll. And any data issues or any data validations that needs to be done, we can do it and we can monitor the test payroll. So we call this as continuous payroll, right? As you can see here, this payroll had run. We're going to rerun this whole activity list with all these tiles. So what we need to do is first we need to click on this reset activity list. This reset activity list basically resets the whole thing. As you can see over here, in each activity, as I mentioned, each box is called activity. In each activity, every step, we have this reset button, right? We can basically go and reset over here for every step. We can reset the every step. We can reset every step. We can also reset the whole activity, as well as we can reset the whole activity list, right? Everything can be reset. So for example, we are in this particular this activity is active right now. So in this activity, I can reset this whole activity, or I can reset each step one by one. Let's also see other icons over here. The second icon is called lock the step. Here we can lock a particular step. This is called close step. For example, if I'm done with this particular step, and if this step is configured as not an auto closed, right? All these are auto closed, and we are going to rerun this one. I can close this step. I can close, when I close this step, it goes to the close the whole activity. I can close the whole activity. And when the whole activity is closed, like you can see here, this production payroll activity is closed. I can also close the whole activity list, right? So always there are three things: activity list, activity, and step within the activity. Okay. We are going to rerun the whole activity list. Let's see how do we rerun the whole activity list. I'll go and reset the whole activity list here. This whole activity list has been reset. As you can see, it has become gray, and each tile has become gray. Let's rerun this whole activity list. As you can see, the moment I reset it, it's showing as an active, but we can't restart it from here. We need to click on this hamburger menu, and within that, search for the payroll pod that you want to run with a UP. We are running this active one. We need to start it. Okay. Now the view is open. What we need to do is we can use this button to expand or reduce the view. Now this view, we can go and start the recurrence over here, right? We can also delete it. If I delete it, the tile that we've seen over there, that will go away. So we have to basically run this recurrence, and that will start the recurrence, start the activity list. Once we go here, as you can see, all these activities have started running, and they all are running. So this one is a monitoring master data. Here, this has already run. 2 alerts were generated. As you can see, this does not have any predecessor activity, whereas this also doesn't have predecessor activity, but the first step, and this has already been finished. And this posting job simulation is running. Okay, this also finished, and this is monitoring job, which is running over here. Now it seems that is closed, and we can go and have a look at the alerts that we have. Before the alerts, these are the tiles that shows the full population within that UB payroll area stats. It shows total payment overview, it shows payment history, it shows net payment history, count of the employees with retro payroll runs, and all the alerts that's visible over here, right? But what we have to do is, instead of 18 alerts we can click on these 3 dots to see the control, all the alerts. Within this, if you remember, for Carl Dixon, we had a lot of overtimes in that particular week. And because of that overtime, his salary for this particular pay period has exceeded 10%. If we click here, we see the whole view of the all the information related to Carl Dixon is displayed over here, right? It has like he has recurring payments, he has time payments, and all these overtimes that we had seen over there. Then so let's see one by one. If I click on this, the date, it takes me to the people profile of Carl Dixon, and it will show me the compensation information where I had mentioned the recurring payment, right? The recurring payment is over here. As you can see, the education pay $50 is the recurring payment for this employee, for Carl Dixon. Similarly, if I click on the wage type, it takes me to the EC payroll part of it where it shows the $50 for Carl Dixon as a recurring pay. Similarly, for the employee time payment, if I click on the start date, it takes me the timesheet for that 18th of August, for which I had shown the overtime 5 minutes back at the beginning of this video. And similarly, if I click on the wage type ID, it shows me the payroll, EC payroll of the employee registered. This person is already being processed by Shane Clear, right? Maybe this is the one. So if I go back and click on the time, I should be showing the timesheet 1260, right? Similarly, we can also go and see the EC compensation for Carl Dixon. We go and drill down over here, click on the EC compensation, and we directly land into the compensation portlet, similar to recurring payment that we had seen, right? Similar to that. You can click here. Let's close this windows, which we have opened till now. And then let's close this tile. Then we have payment overview. We have, again, additional payment is one-time payment. If I click on the date, it takes me to that one-time payment that's been given to Carl Dixon, which is $5,000 as incentive. If I click on the wage type ID, it takes me to the EC payroll part of it where the $5,000 is there. And also I can see the pay slips of Carl Dixon. If I click on the test payroll run, because the test payroll had run, I should be able to see the pay slip related to that particular payroll, right? The same payroll run what we have seen. I can also go and see the previous pay slips, right? It's a two pay slips in the past. Okay, check date is different here. So these tiles are called designer tiles, analytic designer tiles, and it gives us all the information, all the payroll related information for Carl Dixon. It also shows the previous period and the current period wage difference. If you want to have a look at it, it just gives all the wage, all the information over here for the wage types that has been, calculated for this employee. And then let's see, is there anything else which is important here? It gives, you don't even have to go to the people profile. You get the company information, the cost center, and all the related information over here. We can also go and see the ECP replication log as well as the master data log. So let's see what do we have here. Some log of the master data, and here and the replication that has taken the last replication that took place for this employee. So this way we can view all the information related to this particular alert of the 10% overtime exceeding, right, for Carl Dixon. Now we have seen this alert. We can either close this alert and move on, but I don't want to close it because there will be other demos that might happen after this. What I will do is I'll just go ahead and close these step as well as close the activity. Once it's closed, I'll go ahead and close this too. Close this step, close this activity. And as soon as I close all these previous activity, this particular activity starts. Right? So this one is the payroll one, which is running right now. The payroll has started, payroll has finished, the reports are running behind the screen. Okay, and this we can close this report because it has one message. We can run all the policies related to the employee. And as you can see, 20 alerts has been created as part of the production payroll. Remember, initially we had test payroll, we had these alerts, we had the simulation posting. As you can see here, simulation posting. In this simulation posting also, we can go and see the information in this tile. This one will give directly the spool ID, the spool that is run for this simulation posting, which shows 85 employees were processed. This will show the posting document that was created as part of the simulation. This link directly takes you to the EC payroll and shows the job over here. On the same spool that we have seen there, we can see the same spool over here. Right. This is the same thing that we had seen in that report. So once all these jobs, once all these activities, predecessor activities are finished, this activity of production payroll has started, and within that, all these steps are closed. As you can, I was telling you earlier that the reports, payroll reports, we can click on this step and we can view these payroll reports over here if anyone is interested in this payroll report. The first one is payroll journal, second one is wage type reporter, third one is reconciliation report. Either you can see the spool ID directly from here, or you can directly go to the job, and within the job you can go and see the spool. It shows 47 pages, a lot of information over here. This is an old payroll journal that we have, or you can directly see from the spool ID. The same stuff over here. So once you have seen the payroll reports, let's go to the alerts again, 20 alerts. And this whole, it's the same thing that we had seen for the test one. All these tiles gives us the information about the whole population, all 85 employees that we have in the UB payroll area. But within that, we can also come and see the manage alerts, where, remember the overtime one, which we have put in the search. Same overtime alert is still existing because we did not close it in the test payroll. Ideally, we are supposed to close it so that it should not be visible over here. But we have kept that alert over there because we have other demos that needs to take place in which we have to show this alert. So we don't want to destroy the data for the next demo. But as you can see here, again, we can see all these tiles for the Carl Dixon, and this is in production payroll. If we would have closed it over there, the same would not be visible over here. Right. So this shows the new PCC. The old PCC, if you remember, had only the processes, but in this one, the main thing that we need to keep in our mind is this whole thing is called the activity list. Each box is called activity. Within the box, we have steps. For every activity, for every step, and for every activity, as well as for every activity list, these buttons like this is for run, start the step, This is skip the step. This is close the step, lock the step, and reset the step. And close and reset is there for each step, for every activity, and for the whole activity list, right? The whole activity list. I hope this would have given you some idea about the enhanced payroll control center and the concepts behind it. I did not run these steps because ultimately at the end of the day, once we close this production payroll, someone has to, the next step is basically to go ahead and sign it off, create the payment file, and do the real-time posting. These two steps, once it's done, it's very hard to recover the whole